Hey there, this is Hilton here with Yellow Sky Actions again. And another tutorial I'm going to do is on how to achieve that creamy pop look you're going for using our element set. So today we're going to work in the elements, and this is our starting image right here. And this is what it will look like when we are finished. Again, the starting image, and then the finishing image. So let's go back to the starting image. And what we're going to do is we're going to start up here with the essential set. And I always like, just like with the CS3 through 5, I like to start with the shining star, which is an equivalent to It's Time to Shine. The only difference between the shining star and It's Time to Shine is with It's Time to Shine, there's a sharpening layer. But with the shining star, there's no sharpening layer. But I love this action. I love all these actions, but this one is what I usually like to start with, especially if it needs just a little bit of brightening and that little pop. So here we go. Double click that. There it is. So what the next thing I'm going to do, and this is another action, sorry about that. This is another action that we created. For some reason it's not letting me scroll down. Just give it a second. There we go. There we go. Okay. Another action we developed within this is called the grouper, and we did it especially, specifically for the element set. And basically what it does is it groups the layers that for each action. So just like we ran Shining Star here are the layers. All we have to do is double click this like that, and it groups them. So once I've grouped the shining star, I'm going to drop the opacity to around 70% because that's just the way I like it. So, I mean, just a little bump, and that's perfect for me. And again, you can drop the opacity to whatever feels comfortable for you. So I'm going to flatten that, and the reason why I flatten it, you can run them on top of each other, but I like to do that within the elements especially because it's more organized. That's just my personal taste, but you can run them on top of each other. So the next action we're going to do is I'm going to use an action called Faded Blue Jeans. So double click that. All right. It is faded, and it is an awesome look. But here again, it's just a little too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back down to this grouper. I'm going to group them. And I'm going to drop this opacity to around 40%. Voila. All right, once I've done that, I'm going to mask this Faded Blue Jeans grouper layer. And again, since this mask is a white mask, I'm going to go over here and make sure the foreground is black. Go up to the brush, make sure the brush is selected, and all I'm going to do is wipe this off the frame. I'm going to keep it on the skin. I like the way the tones are with this action on their skin. So I'm going to wipe it off everything, pretty much everything but the skin, the frame, the background, and I'm going to make sure the opacity is around 50%. Bring back some of this detail that was lost with the action. And again, you can keep it on the whole image. It's just my personal preference. This is something that I like to do to really bring out the subject, which is the beautiful bride. So once I brought that back, now you see in this mask area, you see this is black right here. That's what I've brushed off. So that's how you know it's working. I'm going to go to this background and I'm going to brush it off the background just a tad. All right, perfect. Once we're finished with that, flatten it. The next step, I'm going to another action called Slumber Party. And Slumber Party. Slumber Party's up here in this color set. Double click it. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. So again, I'm going to go to this grouper. And before I go to the grouper, see all these layers right here? You can, if you wanted to, you can tweak up each layer. Go in here, you can mask whichever, brush off, keep on whichever you want for the purple, the gray, the level up. You can drop the opacity. I mean, there's so many things you can do with these actions to make it your own. And I'll get into that in a little bit, later tutorials. But for now, we're going to group this layer, this action I mean. So once I've grouped this action, I'm going to drop it down to 50% because it's just a little much. And I'm going to mask it like we did with the other one. White mask, make sure it's a black foreground, and then I've got my brush. And I'm going to brush off the face. So everything else behind it has that Slumber Party-ish look. And 50% opacity, so we're brushing off the face, bring this detail back, and I want her face to really pop. Even take it off the hair just a tad. And again, you see this is what we've brushed off. So once that's finished, I flatten this. The next action I'm going to do is I'm going to use a brush in the essential set called the Snap Crackle Pop Brush. Double click that. Now with this action, there is a black mask. And I've had so many people ask me, well, what's the difference between a black mask and a white mask? Well, I'm going to tell you. The black mask, when it's the black mask, you want to make sure that the foreground is white. Select the brush. And that's what brushes usually have as a black mask, because you are brushing them on with the white foreground, which is over here, instead of the black. So anytime you see a white mask, you use the black foreground. Anytime you see the black mask, typically with brushes, you're going to use the white foreground. So I'm going to make sure it's on the white, the brush, 50% opacity, and all I'm going to do is, you see the tones in her hair, the lights and the darks. I love that, and I really want to bring that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush on the hair. I'm going to really bring the tones out in this hair, and this is what it does right here. It's a huge difference. And I could brush it on her face, but I'm going to use another action within this tutorial, which I'll talk about later, that's more appropriate for this image, in my opinion. So, as you see, I've brushed it on. You can see that with the white strokes. Here's the before and then the after. I mean, look at that. Again, here's the before and then here's the after. So once I've done that, I'm going to flatten this. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here in the essential set and I'm going to click Sharp Brush. Okay, so this has a black mask as well. So we're going to do the same thing. Make sure it's the white foreground, the brush, and I am going to use the opacity around 50%. I'm going to go down to 48, 46, 48. It's fine. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to brush it on the face. And watch how much this sharpens the face. I mean, it really makes it really come out at you. I mean, it's so beautiful what these actions can do. And that's why I love them. It's so convenient too. So here's the before and here's an after. And we're going to zoom in. All right. Before, after. See what it does, the eyes, the mouth, and the teeth. I mean, it really makes everything pop. Before, after. All right. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to flatten it. And then the last step is going to be the complexion brush. And this action is, you know, giving off a lot of, it's buzzing around. Everyone's talking about the complexion brush. And it's the equivalent to the complexion perfection within our CS3 through 5 set. It's unbelievable. I mean, this brush can really take oily skin. It can take, I mean, these bumps right here in her skin. You can see the oils, and it can just, you know, eliminate anything, smooth anything out. I love it. It's one of my favorite actions for smoothing skin. Complexion brush is up here in the essential set. Double click it. Usually takes a few seconds to load, but I love it. I mean, I'll show you. Proof's in the pudding. Look at that bad boy run. All right. Okay, so with this action, you've got two layers. You've got a smooth layer and you've got a texture layer. And the smooth layer has that black mask, which we were talking about earlier for the brush. So you want to make sure the foreground's white, the brush, that way you can brush it on. And then you've got a texture layer. And the texture layer you want to use after you use the smooth layer. And what the texture layer does is it brings back the detail that you would like. But today, we're just going to use this smooth layer, and we're going to show you what this bad boy can do. So with a smooth layer, white foreground, brush, opacity, I'm going to bump the opacity up to 100% because I want to show you what this thing can do. Oh, too big. Okay, here we go. Watch this. I mean, it's gone. I love it. So we're going to wipe it on her cheeks, brush it on her cheeks, hit the nose. And what I always do, I always like to leave these dimples here, these creases, because I want to show the detail in her face. I want to keep that detail. I just want to get rid of the bumps, the oils, and so on. So get in here, make sure I don't hit those creases. I want to keep the detail. And today we're just going to work on her face, but you can, I mean, you can use this on any part of the body, any skin. There it is. Maybe take away this right here. The eyelids. I mean, I love it. It's this is a game changer right here, guys. So here's the before. I mean, and then the after, and it just really, it's so subtle. It's so subtle, and it just, you know, a little bit goes a long way. It's perfect. So there it is, guys. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, and that's the buttery cream look. I'm gonna post a before. I'm gonna post a before and after on our Facebook wall with this tutorial underneath it to help you guys out. Again, guys, let me know if you want, if you would like us to post any more videos. We're always going to keep posting video tutorials, but if you have any issues or have any questions about our actions, not issues, but questions on how to perfect something, or we would love to hear from you. We always love everyone's opinions, and we want to make you guys the best photographers out there. So much love, guys. You guys have a great day.